My name is Anatoly Oleksienko. I'm a professor of international higher education at the Center for Higher Education Leadership and Policy Studies at the Education University of Hong Kong. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to our global webinar series. I have the privilege to speak today with Dr. Nicia Yparrea from Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico. She is a scholar of educational technology and innovation. She did research on open education. She's this new rising star in international education in Mexico, I could say. And I was really excited to invite her because her perspective on the interconnected world and global awareness, immersive tools, and intentional pedagogies, which were kind of some interesting perspective for me in creating international collaborations for students and for scholars. It has been of high interest to several of colleagues in my community, but also to me personally. So it's a great pleasure to be with you here today. Nicia will start her presentation, and then we'll have questions for her, comments. So please feel free to use the chat room. And Nicia, without further ado, please. We all look forward to learning more from you about the importance of this perspective on intercultural awareness and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Anatoly, and welcome all to this webinar called Empowering Collaboration Through Intercultural Awareness. First, I would like to thank Dr. Anatoly for the invitation. I feel very honored to be here and to be able to share with you some of my findings during my research study in the PhD. So, well, my name is Nicia Guillén Yparrea, and I'm from Mexico. I'm currently a professor in the School of Engineering and Science, right now teaching in master's programs. And well, some of my background, I have a bachelor degree in animation and digital arts. So that's why I like technology and everything about it. I have a master's degree in marketing, and I recently graduated from the Education in the Knowledge Society PhD program in the University of Salamanca. And well, thank you for being here. Good morning over there. Here is 9 p.m. from a day before yours. So thank you so much. And well, I would like to start with this question. Did you know that only 2.6% of university students have the opportunity to experience international mobility? So how do we prepare the rest of the students to work and learn interculturality? My motivation, or the three main motivations for this study is, well, my passion for education and global well-being. I love being a professor, and as I always say, believe in education, and also the use of emerging technology that can help us to transform the way things, the way we do things nowadays. So, well, the contextual framework for this study was carried out in Mexico at Tecnológico de Monterrey and in Chile at the Pontificia Universidad Católica de Valparaíso. And we identified the need to prepare students for effective international collaborations to address these global challenges that we are having currently in our world. And well, the problem statement, we should be taking advantage of technological trends. As I always say, technology is there already. So we can create or complement different ways of teaching that can help students to develop these transversal skills, such as intercultural competencies that are now essential in our for our globalized world, right? So the main objective of this study was to analyze to what extent and how intercultural competencies are being developed by university students in order to promote intercultural collaboration, professional and academic. To start the study, I used two approaches. First, a systematic literature mapping to identify the most relevant and latest studies on the topic, and then 3 different systematic literature reviews to understand what has been done and to identify these gaps and trends in these fields: intercultural competencies, professional collaboration, and higher education. And well, after I did these literature reviews and everything, for the main component of this study, that is intercultural competencies, two main concepts came out. Intercultural education as exploring different aspects with topics related to the development of transversal competencies, intercultural training, and also intercultural experience in order to develop these competencies. And then the international experiences mean both face-to-face and also virtual experiences, whether short or long-term, can foster student development in diverse cultural environments. And for the second main component, professional collaboration, 2 main components came out. Immersion, that encourage a student to participate across different cultural contents and with different type of teams, diverse teams, to become familiar with these group members were one thing truly important for them, and virtuality to deepen research on topics that combine interculturality and also digitalization and virtual learning environments. And for the 3 main components, that is like a mix between educational models and virtual learning platforms, 2 main concepts came out. Educational technology as that can enable to personalize learning anywhere. Anywhere access to educational resources, no matter your physical presence, and more immersive and engaging experience. And for virtual learning platform, as a global learning resource used by people around the world to acquire knowledge, skill, and competencies in different fields, not only interculturality. And the methodology of this study was carried out during 3 years. And while the main components I already explained before are intercultural competencies, professional collaboration, and educational technology for transversal development. A mixed methodology was used, combining quantitative and qualitative data in an explanatory sequential research design in 2 phases. And the data was analyzed through the triangulation of data using the 3-dimensional matrix. The intervention scenario, as I told you at the beginning, was a Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico in different cities, Monterrey, Saltillo, Guadalajara, Santa Fe, Querétaro, and Estado de México. These cities are all around the geographical Mexico and whole Mexico. And for this was in phase 1 and 2. And the intervention scenario in Chile was the Pontificia Universidad Católica de Valparaíso in Valparaíso, Chile, in the phase 2 of the study. Well, in the implementation, I will try to simplify the whole process, but was for the phase 1, I apply Likert scale questionnaires within the students, focus groups within the students and professors, semi-structured interviews with students and professors. And also I did some kind of pilot for the use of metaverse in collaboration within university students across the different cities that I already mentioned in Tecnológico de Monterrey. And for the phase 2, also I apply some Likert scale questionnaires to students and professors, focus groups with students, and semi-structured interviews for with students and professors. And I apply some learning rubric for the students and participate during the whole implementation of this kind of model that I will show to you later. And in between the phase 1 and 2, I designed like a prototype of an educational model for the development of intercultural competencies that was improved after the analysis of the second phase of the study. Well, in this video, you can see like how the international experience in metaverse space were carried out. This was between students in Mexico and in Chile. These kind of tools allows the students to feel more comfortable when they first interact with people from other country, because they can also create these kind of avatars. They don't have to show themselves in the camera if they don't want to. They can just create an avatar to represent themselves between the virtual space. And also the beginning of this experience was important for them to first explore the space. And you can see some pictures because they have like a challenge about cultural facts that they have to investigate about. So right now you can see like how was the physical environment in Chile, in both Chile and Mexico. So they were in groups of 5 or 6 people, and they first, in the first session, they get to know each other and engage with the teammates. That it was really important for them. And after the second session, they have to solve this kind of cultural game. So they were really engaged with each other. So they were like, yes, we have to win first and blah, blah, blah. And so this was like a really nice experience for them at the beginning. And at the third session, they have to make like reflections. They have to solve an intercultural case, like a case study, and they have to also research about intercultural competencies in the same teams that they were from the beginning. these teams were formed with students from Mexico and Chile, 2 from Mexico, 3 from Chile, or 3 from Mexico and 2 from Chile. So they use tools like the metaverse. That tool is called Frame. It is nice because you can like design the space that you need from the activity or the interaction that you will be having. And also we use Zoom. Another tool that is Halo AR, that is from augmented reality, because there were some questions that they need to scan and to explore through augmented reality. And also Google Earth, because they have to like travel themselves to different points in the world to solve the different activities that they have to finish in groups. And Google Workspace to collaborate online in real time, right? So this was like the kind of prototype, like a prototype of an experience that I designed after I analyzed the data from the first phase of the study. And then, well, after the main findings, I improved this educational model that I will be showing to you. But the main findings, regardless intercultural competencies, was that the development can be fostered through meaningful intercultural experiences. Also, it is important to manage the expectation and this anxiety for the evaluation before and during the interaction with the teammates from other countries. And also truly important, doing a reflection in the learning process. I mean, for the students to do these kind of reflections, and not just trying to complete the activities. And for the professional collaboration and educational technology, well, it is essential to promote solving common challenges and social interaction. And these virtual tools can enable international experiences, no matter the physical location of the students. This was important because not all of our students, even though that we are in a privileged position in our university, not all of the students have the opportunity to go there to do an international exchange. So as professors, we are trying to find these tools for these new generations, also trying to understand how they communicate, how they can interact better, to develop to help them to develop these intercultural competencies. Because of course, after analyzing the interviews with them, students who had the opportunity to do an international exchange were more open than students who didn't, right? So this is just like a proof that, of course, if they like have more in intercultural interactions, they will be feeling more comfortable, and they will see the true value of collaborating with people with different cultural contexts. So how can we do this if students cannot travel one semester to one country and another semester to another country? So here is where we can take advantage of these virtual training tools to not base the whole intercultural development in virtual environments, because of course it will be tiring for the student, but to complement, to make them feel more like engaged with the other teammates. Also, they share something like, yeah, I love because I could show the rest of the students our university, and they could like travel between the spaces. And also I asked them some words, even though both Mexican and Chilean students speak Spanish, we use different words to communicate. So they were also curious about this, like how do you say this in your country? And those little interactions, like not in a formal collaboration way, but in an like informal, like social, made them feel more comfortable and not worry about the how they will perceive their participation. They will be feeling more comfortable to communicate their ideas because they already had like this kind of icebreaker in having fun in doing this exchange of cultural facts from here we eat this and it is delicious, but we know that there you don't eat spicy food, for example. And they were trying to understand the context of the other teammates. So I share here some of the voices of the participants, but in general, students and professors find the implementation of the metaverse experience in international teams quite enriching and interesting. It is important to say that not just international students, but also in the same country. For example, in Mexico, we have different contents across the different states or province. So they truly like sharing experiences, facts, and some more about them and their culture with the rest of the participants. They also share their learning highlights and how that first social interaction made them feel comfortable to actively participate in their teams and to propose and to take the lead, to organize and to feel like they were almost in the same place, trying to solve a common challenge for the uh, for the good of both countries, like more or less. So so after saying all this and sharing, like I know it's a brief sharing of the whole detailed study, but I would like to present to you the educational model proposal. It is called immersive co-learn, and one of the main outcomes of this research was the design of this educational model for the development of intercultural competencies to promote international collaboration. And that is why it's called immersive co-learn. And it contains the four essential elements in an educational model: the philosophical, theoretical, political, and operational. So in the philosophical component, that are the fundamental principles, values, and beliefs guiding this educational practice. Well, the ultimate purposes are to pursuit of interculturality, interdependence, and humanism. And some of the actions that can be taken to achieve this is to analyze global problems. I mean, these applying to the students, university students, of course, the awareness raising in the activities they do every day, the creation of inclusive environments, community services, and also to get to know the role of intercultural dialogue. The theoretical component that it is referred to the conceptual and theoretical framework for this educational model, that is basically the internal organization. is the collaborative learning that's essential for it, experiential learning, and challenge-based learning. And some actions that we need to take in order to achieve this is defining intercultural challenges and working in intercultural teams. And these teams don't have to necessarily have to be with people from different countries. Of course, if it is possible to do this, I encourage you all to do it. I mean, using virtual tools, that is the core of this educational model, and the virtual tools of virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, metaverse, and so we can connect with students from different universities across the world, collaborating to build knowledge and understanding, also solving these global case studies to understand different perspectives from people with a different cultural contexts and also different reality that they live every day. And of course, enriching feedback during the different activities that we apply, trying to develop these intercultural competencies. And it is important to encourage the students to work with different people and not always with the same teammates as they usually do. And then later they will look for it. They will look for collaborating with different persons, because they will see the value after the collaboration, and how can they really get to know and understand different realities in the world. And for the political component, that the decisions and actions that have to be taken to put educational philosophy and theory into practice. I mean, in a specific context or organization or institution. Well, the educational policies should be create, international cooperation as a main element in this practical orientation, and the focus on intercultural education, I mean the promotion of this kind of education across the whole study career for the students, and not just like a separate component. And finally, the operational component that refers to the activities, strategies, and pedagogical practices that have to be carried out to achieve the proposed educational intentions of this educational model. For these are three essential moments during the implementation. First, planning involves the diagnostic of the group in which we are going to implement this educational model. The designing of experiences, I mean the carefully design of experiences, is adapting these to our participants. Teacher training is essential. I mean, training in intercultural education, but also in immersive technologies or the technological tools that they will be using during this implementation. And resource management that is involves the creation of virtual spaces, maybe in the metaverse, or look for the VR tools that we need for a activity that we want to design, and well, to prepare the whole scenario before the implementation, or before apply these kind of activities with the students. And the second moment is implementation, the actual implementation. That is, do these kind of intercultural exchanges in the metaverse. intercultural / international exchanges, team projects in virtual reality. Also, it is important to do this kind of role playing for intercultural dialogue, so students can understand the different roles depending on cultural context, and the immersive international experience, right? Using these virtual tools like augmented reality, virtual reality, and metaverse, as I showed you before. And continuous feedback with the students and also within professors. And for the follow-up of this is the third moment of the operational component is to share best practices between between teachers that are applying this educational model. The verification of the progress, this can be through a digital portfolio of evidence and this kind of reflections that the students will be doing during the whole semester, or like the whole year, depending on how you want to organize this the implementation of the educational model. And also this comprehensive learning assessment, constant updating based on the needs that will be identified during the implementation process. We will be knowing like these kind of gaps in these elements that needs to be changed in order for the educational model to be successful. So, well, as future steps of this study, will include integrating these technological tools with innovative teaching and analyzing how students respond to this while they are collaborating with students from different cultural contents, and also to adapt educational models to the needs of the different contents, institutions, schools, depending on the evaluation of the learning environment in which it will be applied. And so, of course, I will be more than happy to share with you this kind of guide for the educational model. And well, as it should be, here are the references I use in this presentation. And before finishing this talk, I would love if you could share with me and with all your reflections on this. First, please think of a moment when you became aware of your own cultural lens while teaching or researching, or also learning if you are still a student. And second, what is one insight or action or idea you are taking away from this talk? And please, I don't know if you use Mentimeter before. Here in Mexico, we love, in Technological Monterrey, we love that tool. So please scan the QR code. I will share with you also through the chat the direct link.
Okay. Thank you, Nicia.
So you can just copy and paste in your browser.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Nicia. It was really a really exciting presentation for those of us who work in the field of internationalization or intercultural studies. I will use an opportunity to ask you a couple of questions. Meanwhile, I invite all participants who are online just to use the chat, and also feel free to raise your hand so that I can see and invite your question or comment. Let me, Nicia, my comprehension of all this is that, you know, we were eager to engage with technology during crisis, during the pandemic. That time was like everyone had to do it, right? after the pandemic, I observed this decline of interest or engagement with technology as such. What you showed to us was pretty much this interactive environment within the two countries where students engage with digital tools, metaverse, all this innovative. So is it applicable? I mean, to what extent this is a promising learning environment? Is it the environment only for, let us say, computer science students who engage in technology, or is it something that you feel that can open new opportunities for different fields, humanities and other, I don't know which particular areas you feel like they have some big future in this particular domain? So maybe you can share with us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sure. Actually, the implementation of this like prototype of the educational model was after the pandemic times, because it was in 2023. And also it is important, I didn't share that because it is really like a very detailed study, but the students from Tecnológico de Monterrey were not just from engineering and science school. No, they there was profiles from social science, education, like arts, and medicine. So they were like a mix of, yeah. In Chile, yeah, it was just engineering schools, a school involved in this study. But yeah, I think that we need to understand the context in which we want to apply we want to use these kind of tools. Because if we don't engage first with our participants, with our students, it will be for sure like not an activity made for them, you know? So I think that, yeah, it is, I mean, technology is here to stay. We cannot do anything about that. So I encourage you all to use it, in educational context, because as I said before, it is impossible for students to travel around the world having these international interactions. So I think that this can be like a powerful tool that we can first understand. We should do some training also about how to use it and to adapt in our context, so they can have this interaction. For them, it was truly enriching, and they were like, oh, we now want to have this with people from Germany, people from, so I think we need to first believe in the powerful of these kind of tools. So second, we need to know our participants, our students, and third, we need to try. So
Well,
yeah, I would
thank
say
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thank
I see
you.
a question coming from Ms.
Okay.
Cuivias. So, Ms. Would you like to ask question,
Yeah, I say,
or just to
can be.
elaborate on what
Okay.
are you looking for here?
Yes.
Just for student peer learning or student to student learning, collaboration among students. So your question here is pretty much about, I guess,
Yes.
to what
Yes, and to
extent
peer
this
learning.
model is for students versus teachers versus, I mean, who is in the leading position here? If we talk about the development of this particular model, right? Just who is playing a major role in making this a successful for intercultural? Ms. Wei, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes. I in Malaysia, I have seen students who have left school very early, so they do not have the privilege of having platforms or teachers or institutions to support them. So what they have developed is a platform online, and they learn among themselves. So I thought that is very great, that they among themselves. So here we are talking about, an institution leading, a collaboration between institutions, but can there be a student to student or peer learning platform, which a model which also facilitate learning among students, especially among developing countries where just now you mentioned that only 2.6% of the students has international student learning experience. So there is a lot of students out there who have no opportunity. So this is just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Anatoly, for this great opportunity to attend this webinar and other webinars. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nicia.
Thank you very much. And this is a hard and interesting question. But no, for this educational model is recommended to have a teacher, I mean a mentor, because it is important to guide students through the whole process. I mean, make them reflect about the different positions they are taking in this kind of intercultural exchange that we are having through virtual tools. It is recommended for sure to make them have a space, like the first session maybe they can talk, explore this space and talk about whatever they want. That don't feel like the teacher is here hearing us. No, it is important like if they were in the same physical space. But in the second session, maybe you start to do these kind of interventions to focus the students during the co-creation of knowledge. So yeah, I hope I answered your questions, but also I will share my contact. So I would love to continue the conversation. So if you have any other questions or want to know more about the educational model, more about the details of my study, because it was a thesis of 500 pages. So sorry, I tried to explain it as fast as I could. But please feel free to take my LinkedIn contact and my institutional email account. And
thank you, Dr. Nicia. Do I address you? Well, definitely, I will keep in touch with you. Thank you, Dr. Anatoly, for this opportunity. Actually, I'm applying to study PhD. So I have much to learn. So I hope I get through this to be an official student, and I find it very exciting.
Right.
I look forward to greater engagement and working, studying.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in the process of intercultural communication while we just learn about intercultural communication here. So that's a really an interesting example. I'm curious, actually, Nicia, about teachers on different sides. In your case, you have two countries or two institutions, right? So both are research intensive universities, I suppose, and teaching is an important part of what you were telling us about. But at the same time, I'm curious how this collaboration across borders comes to life. I mean, who takes leadership? What are the roles of institutions in terms of their policies or mechanisms? So where do you see important leverages for encouraging or rewarding this intercultural communication and learning?
Okay, thank you. This is also the main issue, I think, because in our university, we are like a lot of people and professors. It is pretty big, like very, very big. And honestly, this kind of initiatives and activities and everything are taken from professors that are interested in technology first, that they want to explore how students react to the use of, for example, virtual reality or a metaverse. So they look for this. In my case, I create like a team with social interest professor that was interested in social science, and a different professor interested in technology, meaning metaverse, for example, and myself. But in Chile, yeah, for sure, it was the professor that was interested in technology per se, like he were having other different kind of implementation of virtual reality in engineering and everything. So I knocked at his door and say, oh, I would love to have this implementation. Let's start trying to connect and everything. But I think it's the professor who takes the lead to start these kind of interactions. And the professors, I will say that truly love their job and are always trying to give like an additional value to the student for them to experience different kind of activities and to learn transversal competencies and knowledge. So I will say the professor. So that's why this political component is essential to make these educational policies in the universities or organizations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I'll be still asking questions while waiting for other colleagues to join if they have interest. So in terms of, I just what attracted me in your statement was this reference to meaningfulness, or just to what extent meaningfulness of this becomes really, an issue for evaluation of what you are doing as something really meaningful, and you feel you want to stay, doing this, stay committed to this particular exchange. Because sometimes I guess cross-cultural communication is not easy. Language, values, many other issues, right? Sometimes we feel like collaborations happen because there are friendships between individuals, right? Or some joint interests that are so high to that extent that these people are eager to do some research or develop some experimental playground for themselves in terms of innovation, but also for their students, right? So in terms of this kind of meaningfulness, or maybe like if we just take a binary meaningfulness versus superficiality, just to what extent do you feel like this is something very important? When do you know that this really achieves that kind of depth, that level of satisfaction, engagement? So how we would recognize this, how we would know? I mean, if we just kind of like teachers who are interested in this or engaged, so how do we know? I mean, what are the good tools for this purpose?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Also, I can share with you some of evaluations instruments like learning rubric and everything, so the professor can observe if the student really develop some level of intercultural awareness. I can share with you, but also I want to point. As you say, for example, the language. Yeah, the main challenges that the students recognize why they are not constantly looking for doing teams with people from other countries. Yeah, starting with the language. For example, that, well, in this case, metaverse or the virtual tool help because you have like a real-time translation that it may not be precisely as if you talk the language, but it can help you to start the communication without these issue of the language issue. And the second main challenge they pointed out was the anxiety of the evaluation from their, not the professor, the other partners. Like, for example, these kind of ideas they have, like, oh, if this student is from this country, or maybe he or she will know more than me about this. So I prefer not to share what I'm thinking about the problem, or about the challenge that we have to solve, because I think maybe they will think that I'm dumb, or that I'm not smart enough. That was a truly a painful outcome. So with these tools, they feel kind of protect, because they are not showing themselves, like they have this avatar, and they have the time to just play a little bit and just talk about everything and nothing at the same time. So they start to feel more engaged. And as a teacher, for sure you can notice when your students just they put together everything. You will do this, you will do that, to finish this assignment, collaborative assignment, But when they are enjoying truly, like the activities that they are doing, they don't even ask like the time, or they don't even ask like the grade that you will be giving to them if they finish or not. They just really get involved in this environment. So this I will say that is a meaningful experience, when they can just not engage through these academic challenges, but also as a person, as a human being. Yeah, more or less.
Okay. Thank you, Nicia. All right. So anyone who would like, because I feel like I monopolize all the time to ask this question. Anyone who might want to raise your hand and ask question? If not, I probably just kind of go with one of the kind of my probably last question here. Just in terms of three key recommendations for those who are new to the field, who don't know, who didn't have much experience with intercultural learning, or let us say teaching in this regard, because I guess we're also here in the teaching university with very strong research components, but so we are this teacher who are research intensive scholars. We are curious, what are the ways to encourage teachers, especially in the field of higher education, because we work with adults, with the higher level learner and in many regards. So what are these three major recommendations that you would give to these novices in the field of intercultural teaching? So like in terms of priority, which three you would name?
Okay. First understand yourself very well. What is intercultural learning? What is interculturality in general? Like first prepare yourself, like research about this, and feel confident about the knowledge if you have in this field. Second, don't separate the interculturality or the intercultural education from your subject, from science or arts, social science, or whatever. Try to mix, or try to add the intercultural component in your activities. Maybe not in all your activities, but I mean in the teaching process that you do, in the projects that you propose with the students. try to add this element. Maybe like with these little actions, like give them a global case study to solve, for example. And the third, be open and exchange ideas with other teachers that are already implementing these kind of different activities in order to develop intercultural competencies. I mean, I think sharing is what we don't learn about, maybe, you know, like maybe we think that is not good enough, or we are a little bit selfish with sharing. But I will say, yeah, share with your colleague, look for mentoring, or ask to professors that you know that they have been successful with this kind of implementation. Yeah, I think.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Nicia. That's exactly what we are doing over this past hour, just to share. I mean, this is a excellent sharing opportunity, and there was great experience. And the whole global webinar series, I think, is about sharing among colleagues across the world, across cultures. So this is I really appreciate your contribution to this enterprise. And definitely stay in touch with Nicia. She has her contacts here on the screen, and she also shared Mentimeter before. So please stay engaged, and we look forward to collaboration with you, Nicia. You're most welcome to visit us in Hong Kong here as well. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate a lot the space, and I mean this interaction that we already have, and everything. I admire you. I mean, you as a university, and for sure, I look forward to learn from your practices also. And thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
and everyone in Hong Kong and China, you have a
have a nice day. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Thank you, Professor Anatoly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.